Hey guys, it's Lexi and I'm going to teach you what your mother doesn't tell you about the SAT. So, I'm going to list right here a bunch of the different annotations of where I'm talking about certain things. So if certain things you don't need to hear, you already know about, then you can skip over it and go to these things. Alright, now let's start the video. So what is the SAT? It's a test taken in the United States or on other territories. It helps colleges see what you know and how you apply your knowledge. It's composed of 3 parts: writing, reading, and math. The reason why colleges look at it is because it's a good predictor of how well you're going to do in college. Well, there's the SAT and then there's SAT subject tests. The subject tests are pretty much what they sound like. They're tests on a specific subject. In your high school career, you can take either test at any time. How do I prepare? I wanted to divide it in the simplest ways that I could. I'm going to show you what you should do in each grade. If you're a freshman, start by taking some challenging courses, take honors classes, higher level classes. The math only goes up to Algebra 2, which I finished as a freshman, so if you're like me, then you can just take your SAT freshman year. But also look into the subject test. You take world history as a freshman, and there's a world history subject test, so if you take the class and you did really well in it, why not take the subject test when you're a freshman as opposed to, you know, like waiting until you're a junior or a senior and you might not have as much of a memory on that. When you're a sophomore, that is when you are required to take the PSAT unless you're like my friend and just decide to rebel and not show up. This is really great because it kind of gives you a gauge of how well you're going to do. So when you're a junior, this is typically when people start really, I guess, like cracking down on their SAT preparation. A lot of popular methods of studying would be getting books like these ones. You can also go online and get free test questions. The only problem with that is that the test isn't done online or on the computer. It's a pencil and paper, nothing electronics, but that's an easy fix because you can definitely, I'm sure, print them out onto paper and practice that way. When you register for the SAT online, I don't know if that automatically registers you for it or if my mom did it like sneakily. You can get daily questions emailed to you. So I check my email for YouTube daily, and every day I'd get like a question. It's like, this is the SAT question of the day, and it would take no time. Another great thing is prep courses. The first SAT prep course that I took was awful. It was every Saturday morning for like 8 or 12 weeks, something crazy like that, and it was freezing cold. Oh, all my friends were in it, and it was just a joke. None of us took it seriously. I can't tell you how many more Snapchats I would receive in a class than I would see test questions. At the time, it was fun because we were just joking around and we weren't getting in trouble for it, but in retrospect, it was an awful idea because it was an expensive program that no one learned anything from. Then I took this other prep course, and this I completely recommend if you live in the Northern Virginia area because that is where I live, and I would check your local high schools. Please take this. I had so much, I borderline want to say fun. My friend Mary and I went, and it's this thing called turbo tutoring, and I took so many notes. It's run by 2 guys, an English teacher and a math teacher. They had a sense of humor, they were informative, they were quick and precise, they knew what they were talking about. You could tell that they had like a clear understanding for not only the test, but a way to interact with students, and I felt like people were comfortable to ask questions. It gave me a lot of tips that I wouldn't have known prior to it. I'm just going to give you a few tips just in case you're not in the Northern Virginia area and you can't get your hands on one of these classes. The most important thing that I can tell you for studying for the SAT, you're not studying the test questions, you're studying the test style. The SAT is based on your knowledge, your speed, and your strategy. If you have a lot of knowledge, you can probably get through the test, but if you don't have that speed, you're not going to get as high of a score. But let's say you have speed, but you don't have the knowledge, then you can make up for it with your strategy, and that's like what this prep course was about. It gave me like little tips for certain math questions when you're like, oh shoot, like I know how to do this problem, but it's going to take me a while. Well, you don't have a while to answer the question. Another thing I learned, this is something I will never forget, the fast way to bubble your answers, because it's a bubble test, is going from the inside out. You know those pencils that you get when you're like in kindergarten? It's like the My First pencil, and they're those like really blunt tipped pencils. So it was easier and faster to bubble in, and I kid you not, when I was taking the test, I was just like bubbling in so much faster, and I definitely found myself finishing earlier than I had prior. And it's just because with your really, really sharp pencil, it takes you forever to bubble those in. Sorry, I'm like going on a rant about it. My friend Mary and I don't know if you guys remember her. She's been like in a couple of videos. But her and I just walked out of the test and like went to lunch, and I kid you not, for like the first half of lunch, we're like, that was so great. So definitely recommend turbo tutoring if it's in your area. If not, maybe like shoot me an email or something. I don't know. I'll list the information to that below. If you have any questions, feel free to like tweet me or email me. And that's junior year and kind of a synopsis of the test and how to prepare. Most people take the SAT in the spring of their junior year and the second time in the fall of their senior year. They say that your second time you usually do better. They say you peak at your third time though, so don't bother taking the test 4, 5, 6 times. If it is your senior year and you're taking it and you're applying early to colleges, send your scores directly. You can do that. A lot of people don't know that. What most people do is they get their scores sent to them, they have them sent, they look at them, then they send them away to the colleges. That takes up time, and if you're applying early admission or early decision to colleges, you can just send them right away. Super easy. Now for my my section on what to bring to the test. Bring your photo ID. I just keep my ID or like my license on my keys, and I had to bring my keys with me. So make sure you have that along with your admission ticket, which you can just print out after you get your ticket. Like, this is simple stuff. Bring a watch. Have it on your wrist. The sections are timed so you can gauge how much time you have taken up and how much you have left during the different sections. And that honestly I think really helped me. Bring number 2 pencils. A guy in my class, he only had a mechanical, and I mean teachers usually have extras, but you don't want to be relying on that. Calculator. Make sure that it's up to code. Another time I had a kid, he had like, his calculator was too advanced, I think. I can't remember. It had like a really big screen on it. I think that's what it was. So just, if you have a general graphing calculator, make sure you have that. Also, bring extra batteries. Bring a snack, water for the breaks, coffee if you need, an energy shot or something like that. I want you to listen up and listen carefully. If you are one of my viewers and you're watching this right now, do not, I repeat, do not, you are looking at this video right now and you are hearing me speak words and you are taking an SAT, I do not want you to bring your phone into the SAT building with you. Listen to me. Trust me. It says to turn off your phone, and even if for whatever reason you think your phone is off and will not make a sound, I don't care. I want you to leave it in the car. You cannot use your phone during the test. You cannot use your phone during breaks. Only before and after you have left the building. So what is the point of bringing it? On my phone, I had cellular turned off. I had it on airplane mode. I had the all alerts off. Or like I had the ringer turned off and I had the volume all the way down and the screen closed. I did not think twice about it. Your phone does not need service, it does not need Wi-Fi, and it does not need volume or a ringer to set off an alarm. I freaked out. I didn't even look at my phone. I just started like, I can't express to you the amount of shame that filled my body when I heard that sound go off. Because I can't tell you how many times I heard that woman say, no phones in the building, and I remember thinking to myself, because I always think this when people say turn your phones off for not the SAT but for whatever reason, thinking that's so stupid, like why do they even have to say it? It's like everyone knows they have to have their phone off. Like if we thought our phone was going to go on, like that, you just have to be an absolute idiot. I want to say the F word, but I can't say the F word, but just please. I hit snooze, so it went off again. I've never wanted to defenestrate something so badly in my life. I was sitting right by the window and I was like, let me just chuck it up there. All it says is because I didn't have my phone out and I wasn't like cheating on it or anything, an alarm went off, I'm subject to having my scores revoked. Please, whatever you believe in, like cross your fingers, pray, just hope that my scores are given back to me. I just want to know what they are, so don't do that. So now for final tips and things that you probably wouldn't know. Something you may have heard of before, I'm not sure. They do a power score. They would take your highest scores from the 2 tests combined. So you did better on the math the first time, they'll take that math score. You did better on the writing the second time, they'll take that score. And then you get the best possible score that you can get, which is nice, it's to your advantage. And then for the essay, a tip is to pre-think of essay topics. No matter what the prompt is, you can pull knowledge. Let's say you play a sport, make sure one paragraph is about that sport. You can use anything, like you can use an instant in a game, you can use something that the game taught you, you can use a memory of the first time you ever played, you can talk about a book that you like. If you have a famous historical figure that you idolize and you know a lot about them, make sure you talk about that. Talk about things you know and are familiar with. Work on what you know. Do not try fancy things. They are looking for structure and points, like the organization and knowing that you have the ability to write. Don't worry if the words misspelled, like just keep going. All in all, like don't stress out. It's only one of the factors that colleges consider. If you do really well, that's awesome. You can get scholarship opportunities and different awards. If you don't do that well, but you have like still pretty good grades, that's awesome. And maybe that's not your thing, but you have this awesome thing that you do outside of school, or like community service that you've just spent hundreds of hours on. That's awesome. Just get involved with something and be really passionate about something that makes you stand out, and focus on that. And if that happens to be the SAT score, and if it's not, then even more the reason that I hope these tips help. May the odds be in your favor, and have a very happy holidays. Do you like my Christmas sweater? Thumbs this video up if you noticed that I was wearing it, or if you like it, it's my mom's. It has snowmen on it. Thanks so much for watching, and have a good night. Bye!